Italy's EV market kept afloat by Tesla in Q1 2023. Italy's shift to electric mobility is experiencing an uncertain path, following what was a very promising exponential growth rate that lasted until 2021. As 2022 proved to be a lost opportunity, much in contrast with other major European countries. 2023 is progressing with rather mixed signals. Official stats for the first quarter of the year show an auto market in full recovery from the COVID pandemic lows. This recovery, however, is not biased in favor of electrified options, but rather spread out across all powertrains. The overall market reached more than 430,000 registrations, marking a 26.1% increase year-on-year YoY over 2022's underwhelming numbers. Traditional ICE vehicles had a good run in Q1, maintaining stable market share while growing in line with the broader market. Petrol powertrains took a 27.1% share. It was 27% a year prior, while diesels settled at 19.6%, down from 20.8%. Plugless hybrids grew their best-selling share in Q1 to 35.8%, up from 33.8% a year ago. As can be seen, HEVs seem to be stealing more share from diesels than petrol units, whose previous steady decrease has halted since a few months ago. With such strong performance from combustion engine models, how did plug-ins fare? Fully electric cars scored 16,455 registrations in the first quarter, a substantial gain of 45% over the 11,350 units recorded in Q1 2022. With such a buoyant market, however, this meant a proportionally lower increase in market share, which only grew to a still modest 3.8%, from 3.3% YoY. On a more positive note, Q1 2023 was also a better performance when compared to that of the first quarter of 2021, which turned out to be a record year. BEV registrations had been just over 13,000 then, and continued to climb from there. It is unlikely that 2023 will show the same trajectory for full electrics, but only time will tell. Plug-in hybrids performed better than BEVs in Q1, with 19,090 registrations. This meant an 11% increase YoY from 17,197 units. At 4.4% share, PHEVs, however, saw a decline from last year's 5.0%, obtained in a smaller market. This was also their strongest first quarter to date in terms of absolute figures. As seen since last year, PHEVs seem to still be Italy's preferred electrified powertrain with a plug, in increasingly stark contrast with the rest of Europe, where hybrids are stalling or slowly being pushed away by BEVs. Despite the positive performances, combined plug-in powertrains PHEVs BEVs, while up almost 25% for total registrations, only achieved 8.2% market share, slightly down from 8.3% in Q1 last year. In a year that is proving difficult to decipher, identifying individual models' rankings can help better understand the dynamics at play. We now have a top 20 BEV quarterly chart to review. The Tesla Model Y took a decisive lead in Q1, with half its registrations being fulfilled in March alone. Following months of growing deliveries, the D-segment SUV is pacing up in 2023 after recent price cuts. A record year is anticipated for the Model Y, now that Berlin's Gigafactory is churning out several thousand copies each week. Not only was the Y the best-selling BEV in Q1, but it was also the leading SUV in its D segment across all powertrains, outselling the Audi Q5 and Mercedes GLC. We can expect this lead to grow even wider in months to come, as Tesla keeps increasing production at all its factories, with possible further price reductions always in the cards. At a noticeable distance, Runner-up Fiat 500e took second place with 1,530 units. About half the numbers of the much more expensive Tesla Model Y. This marks a decline for the popular A segment from Fiat, compared to both last year and 2021. While the 500e is enjoying growing success abroad, it seems that current reduced domestic incentives and perhaps Fiat's own decision-making are throttling demand to levels that are way lower than the model's true potential. With Stellantis's commitment not to engage in price wars, it is unlikely we will see any big changes in numbers in the short term. In third place, the podium was closed by Tesla Model 3, which made a powerful comeback in the chart after an anemic 2022. With recent price cuts, every trim of the most popular electric sedan in the world is now more accessible than ever. At 1,345 registrations in Q1, most of which in March, the Model 3 clearly threatens the Fiat 500e, which could be overtaken by as early as Q2. The minuscule Smart Fortwo trailed the Model 3 with 1,332 units. An unimpressive result for a much lower-priced vehicle, which was also far from its 2021 delivery records. The C-segment Renault Megane E-Tech took fifth place, above cheaper and smaller models such as the Renault Twingo Z, Peugeot E208, and the Dacia Spring, the Romanian model being a victim of low production levels and logistical constraints that kept it down from the record numbers of last year. The MG MG4 made its debut in 10th place, slowly climbing the ranks, and already above models which have been selling for a much longer period. The Volkswagen ID.3 was out of the top 10, in the 11th position, continuing to sell in less than flattering numbers, along with several other models that are not meeting the success that was hoped for. The Hyundai Kona Electric is a striking example, down at the bottom in 20th place, with a meager 168 registrations in 3 months. Even more surprising? The Nissan Leaf stayed far out of the chart, ranking number 25. While the former BEV queen Renault Zoe was even lower at number 31. With the general public still largely unaware of available options in electric mobility, the Italian EV market relies on a small number of successful models in its slow, hard race to the mainstream. Despite Italy's predilection for city cars, these are now the very ones that are limiting their contribution. In the face of lower incentives and persistingly high prices, while A and B segment BEVs betray an ongoing lack of appeal, it is once again down to Tesla to lead the way. With ever-improving vehicles, at ever more competitive prices. This will shore up the Italian EV market and increase electric cars' visibility, but will legacy carmakers follow? Source: reposted and summarized from Carlo Ambello at Inside EVS. Tesla Model Y and 3 were California's top-selling cars in Q1. Tesla Model Y was the best-selling car in California in Q1 2023 by a huge margin over the competition. Tesla Model 3 finished in second. With only 4 car models sold, Tesla became the second best-selling brand in the state, behind only Toyota. New car registrations in California continue to grow. This year, 1.8 million units are projected to be registered in the state, up 6.9% from 2022. Battery electric vehicles (BEVs) are generating a lot of interest among Californians. In Q1 2023, BEVs accounted for an impressive 19.5%, up from 17.1% for all of 2022. At the same time, interest in hybrid cars remains unchanged. In Q1 2023, their share was 11%, the same as for all of 2022. Tesla Model Y was the best-selling car, regardless of powertrain type. With 31,940 sales, Model Y showed a huge lead over any other car sold in California. From the looks of things, 2023 will indeed be the year of Model Y, and California sales figures are a good indication of that. It is worth noting that Tesla Model 3 was the second best-selling car in California with 17,715 units sold. The Toyota Camry finished in third place with 13,929 sales. Toyota RAV4 finished in fourth place with 13,326 units. Closing out the top 5 is Ford F-Series with 12,955 sales. With only 4 car models sold, Tesla gained 11.8% market share of the California automotive market. The brand is second only to Toyota, which has a 15.2% market share. Source: reposted and summarized from Eva Fox at Tasmanian. Delaware Supreme Court reverses ban on Tesla store sales. The Delaware Supreme Court officially reversed an earlier decision that made it illegal for Tesla to have a store in the state to sell its electric cars. Now, Tesla can own its own dealership and move forward with its direct-to-consumer sales strategy in the state. Tesla still can't sell its EVs in several U.S. states since it relies on direct sales. Essentially, lawmakers in the states that oppose Tesla sales believe the company would be breaking the law by owning its own dealerships and selling its own cars without a middleman. In such states, Tesla would have to agree to use a franchise dealership model to sell its electric vehicles. In Delaware, a Superior Court decision denied Tesla the right to own its own dealership. The state's Department of Motor Vehicles used the law to reject Tesla's application to open a store in the state to sell its EVs. The Delaware DMV rejected the application on the basis that the law prohibits automakers from owning their own dealerships in the state. Tesla appealed the decision, which went to the Delaware Supreme Court, resulting in another win for the U.S. EV maker. Like some other states, Delaware did, at one time, let Tesla have a gallery store where it could show off its EVs. However, even though people could see them, they weren't allowed to buy them. Nonetheless, Tesla moved forward with opening a service center in the state as well. People in Delaware who wanted to buy a Tesla, or who visited the gallery and voiced interest, could proceed to complete their purchase in a neighboring state or online. Now that Delaware has a Tesla service center and Tesla supercharger stations, the cars are becoming popular in the state. This came despite the workarounds necessary for completing a Tesla purchase. As far as the Supreme Court case is concerned, the ruling pointed attention to similar rulings in other states that now allow Tesla sales via the direct sales model. It pushed back against car dealership associations and multiple arguments from the Delaware Department of Motor Vehicles. The justices in the case ruled as follows, according to Delaware Business Now. Source: reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS. Tesla to demolish update Fremont production line possibly for facelifted Model 3. Tesla will demolish a production line at its Fremont Gigafactory, where the Model 3 is currently being assembled, and will install new equipment, according to filings seen by Teslarati. As per the documents, Tesla applied to demolish multiple equipment, tools, and utilities lines at the Californian facility last week, which indicates that the American EV brand might be looking to upgrade the factory ahead of the production launch of the facelifted Model 3 known as Project Highland, which has been in the works for nearly a year. This information hasn't been confirmed, but it seems to align with the recent debunking from Tesla's Chinese division, which denied rumors that production of the refreshed all-electric sedan will soon start at the Shanghai Gigafactory, as previous reports have indicated. In a separate article, Teslarati writes that the fillings indicate the soon-to-be-replaced line is located inside General Assembly 4, or GA4. which became an internet darling a few years ago, because it looked like Tesla was using a tent as a production facility for the Model 3. It's actually called a spring structure. Currently, only the Fremont and Shanghai locations assemble the Model 3. So it might make sense for the Elon Musk-led company to initially focus its production efforts on the United States market, where the entry-level model was the second best-selling battery electric vehicle BEV last year, beaten only by its Model Y crossover sibling. At this point, it's worth mentioning that car manufacturers usually don't destroy complete assembly lines ahead of putting a refreshed model into production. Instead, this type of action is typically reserved for when a drastically different vehicle is about to be built. But with the most recent information that's floating around the internet claiming that Project Highland will have fewer components all around, making for a structurally different vehicle and not just a cosmetic refresh, all the signs point toward the theory that the upgraded line will, in fact, be dedicated to the new Model 3. Tesla is notoriously tight-lipped about everything new, and it wouldn't be a surprise if it decided to keep every single piece of information regarding Project Highland under wraps until the car is eventually put on sale. However, we do know what the front of the car will look like, thanks to a photo posted on Reddit a while back. And a recent spy video revealed a redesigned steering wheel that's similar to the one fitted to the Semi. Source: reposted and summarized from Julian Nystrom at Inside EVS. Tesla CEO Elon Musk suggests EV versus gas hybrid Formula One race. A major part of Elon Musk's legacy has been making Tesla an electric vehicle giant. And now the CEO wants to see EVs at the center stage of racing. Musk attended the Formula One Grand Prix LSXMA in Miami, even suggesting a new kind of race in the league that includes EVs. Following the event, Musk responded on Twitter to an ESPN tweet pointing out that he was in attendance via the street. Musk was seen pictured with Red Bull Racing principal Christian Horner, and he stated that the event had included a fun discussion of aero and battery technology in F1. I proposed a pure EV versus gas hybrid F1 race, Musk added in the tweet. Currently, F1 vehicles average roughly between 200 and 220 miles per hour during the straightaways of racing circuits, with some reaching speeds as high as 231 miles per hour. There is an EV racing league called Formula E, though the cars in that league are far off from what Formula One cars can do at the current time, with top speeds running around 175 miles per hour. Tesla's Model S Plaid has a top speed of over 200 miles per hour, especially if tuned or upgraded specifically for racing. As one example, the four-time F1 champion Sebastian Vettel has raced tuned versions of the Model S Plaid, saying in March that the Plaid could reach top speeds of up to 217 miles per hour, 350 kilometers per hour. Vettel retired from F1 last season and has been sharing videos of the Model S Plaid for the past few months. Despite the Model S Plaid's high speeds, other factors affect performance, such as a vehicle's brakes. In Vettel's recent videos, the Model S Plaid is equipped with Tesla's carbon ceramic brakes, set to release with the Tesla Track package in the coming months. The carbon ceramic brakes are said to unlock the Model S Plaid's top speeds, which explains Vettel reaching 217 miles per hour. Source: reposted and summarized from Evanex at Inside EVS. Tesla Cybertruck caught on video inside factory and on crane outside. We've been flooded with Tesla Cybertruck videos and images lately, as it seems various copies of the truck are out testing, often at the factory's tracks, out driving on public roads, and inside and outside the factory in footage that can't always be easily explained. This recent video begins inside the factory and then quickly cuts to an exterior shot that's quite surprising. Tesla hasn't tried to hide the Cybertruck, which would be a tough task. This is because it unveiled the behemoth years ago, and everyone knows what it looks like. However, we still don't have all the details related to its final design, so folks are watching closely for changes to various prototypes. That said, now that there's just so much footage and so many images being shared around, it's getting more difficult to know for sure what's recent and what may be older material that's being reshared for attention. We can't yet embed the video here, but we've included screenshots below so that you can see what's happening. The video is only 57 seconds long, and there's not much going on aside from what you can see in the following screen caps. Source: reposted and summarized from Stephen Loveday at Inside EVS.